Tuesday, March 15, 2022 meeting of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee of the Metropolitan Council. I am detecting 6 members present: Young, Allen, Bradford, Cash, Nash, and Swope. And that does meet a quorum. First of all, we are going to have a presentation from WeGo, but we are going to quickly, I say quickly, we will, however long as we need, get through our agenda. However, most of it is housekeeping items that I do believe we can dispense of with a consent agenda. So if we can go on through that. I am going to read what I am recommending for the consent, and y'all just hoot and holler, raise your hand if you want to remove anything. RS 2022-1422, 1433, 1434, BL 2022-1128, 1129, 1130, 1131, 1132, 1133, 1134, 1135, and 1089. Anyone have anything they would like to pull before I begin reading the captions? Seeing no one jump up and protest, here we go. RS 2022-1422, Allen and Young accepts the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for laboratory supplies for the water testing lab for the Department of Water and Sewerage Services. RS 2022-1433, Syracuse, Allen, Withers, and Young approves Amendment 2 to an agreement between the Tennessee Department of Transportation and the Metro Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure for the acceptance of work in connection with the construction of a sidewalk on Lebanon Pike from McGavick Pike to Old Lebanon Pike. RS 2022-1434, Gamble, Allen, Withers, and Young authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration or his designee to exercise an option to purchase a certain parcel of property located at 0 Janelle Drive. BL 2022-1128, O'Connell, Allen, Withers, and Young authorizes the Metro Department of Water and Sewerage Services to enter into an agreement with RWGC Marathon Village Owner LLC to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. BL 2022-1129, O'Connell, Allen, Withers, and Young authorizes the Metro Department of Water and Sewerage Services to enter into an agreement with Union Brick RE LLC to provide improved public sanitary sewer service through the construction of an improved stormwater system. BL 2022-1130, Johnston, Allen, and Young authorizes the Metro Water and Sewerage Services to enter into a license agreement with Cumberland River Compact for the installation and maintenance of the Bandalong Bandit Leader Trap in 7 Mile Creek at 497 Paragon Mills Road. Do what? We can pull that one. Yes, we can. BL 2022-1131, Murphy, Withers, and Young abandons easement rights located at 410 42nd Avenue North and 410B 42nd Avenue North, formerly a portion of Alabama Avenue, except for those retained by Nashville Electric Service. BL 2022-1132, Parkers, Withers, and Young accepts new water and sanitary sewer mains, fire hydrant assembly, and sanitary sewer manholes for property at 405B Marshall Street, also known as Marshall Crossing. BL 2022-1133, Rutherford, Withers, and Young accepts new sanitary sewer mains, sanitary sewer manholes, fire hydrant assembly, and easements for property located at 6785A Sunnywood Drive, also known as Sunnywood Place. BL 2022-1134, Withers, and Young accepts new sanitary sewer main and sanitary sewer manholes for 4 properties located at Waller Road in Williamson County, also known as Chaudhuri Acres. BL 2022-1135, O'Connell, Withers, and Young accepts new sanitary sewer manhole and new fire hydrant assembly for property located at 827 19th Avenue South, also known as the Moore Office Building. And BL 2022-1089, Allen, Stiles, and O'Connell amends Chapter 6.77 and Chapter 7.24 of the Metro Code pertaining to the operation and regulation of entertainment transportation vehicles. That is the consent agenda. Is there a motion? And second, all of those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? That we're at 6 still, correct? All right, it is recommended, 6 in favor, 0 against, which now brings us to BL 2022-11-23, Stiles, Withers, and Young, and a proposed amendment. Do we know, is Councilmember Stiles going to be here, or? All right. Then let's see. Can I get a motion on the bill, please? Okay, and there is a proposed amendment. Is there a motion on the amendment? I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, this changes an address, I think. I think it was a housekeeping amendment. Okay, changes the name of the owner of the property, a housekeeping amendment. Any questions or discussion on the amendment? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Any abstain? On the bill as amended, is there further discussion? All right, on the bill as amended, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? It is recommended, 6 in favor, 0 against. We are now at BL 2022-11-30, Johnson, Allen, and Young. Authorizes, is this the one you wanted to pull? Yeah. Authorizes the Metro Water and Sewerage Services to enter into a license agreement with Cumberland River Compact for the installation and maintenance of the, oh, I see, you wanted me to say this word again, of the Bandalong Bandit Leader Trap in 7 Mile Creek. There's a motion and second. Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer a late filed amendment to change the word leader to litter so that we get that right. It is a litter trap.
Makes more sense.
Makes more sense that way. And I'll go before rules as well.
Okay, all right. And Councilmember Nash.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know we have a stormwater person here. Can you speak to whether this is going to have any impact on runoff and slowing down the creek? Because I'm uphill from there, and we've had some flooding issues.
Mr. Palco, welcome.
Yes, Tom Palco, Assistant Director, Metro Water. No, it will not. In fact, part of the operation of this device is that if we're expecting extremely heavy flows or heavier flows, then we will need to actually come and dislodge one side and kind of pull it out of the way so that it doesn't do that. But essentially, it just floats on the surface, and it's not very tall. And the idea is that any floatables will come in and be funneled into the trap itself. So under more than normal circumstances, the water would just flow over the top of it. So, but that is one thing. That's why we're doing it for a year. You know, we want to see if this device would work in this location, and that's exactly one of the concerns we have, is to make sure that we don't create a flooding problem by trying to fix a litter problem. So, point taken.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Councilmember Allen had moved a verbal. Oh, has it? Oh. Oh, okay. Well, all right. So the late filed amendment is out there. It is not in front of us, but it corrects typographical errors. Councilmember Allen has moved that amendment, and it's been properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on the late filed amendment? All those in favor? Any opposed? And any abstentions? We're still at 6, I believe. All right, and on the bill as amended, anything else, ladies and gentlemen? All right, all those in favor? Those opposed? And any abstentions? Did you say we're at 7 now? Oh, I didn't see her come in. All right, and I do believe that concludes the legislative portion of our agenda. And now at this point, we're going to have a presentation from WeGo on some of their neighborhood transit centers they're planning. And we have Ms. Rita Roberts-Turner and Felix Castrodad if they want to come on down. And we'll have you at the, I think those two. Those two, yeah. I think I turned those mics on, so kind of test them out for us. All right. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon to you all. We have had the opportunity and pleasure to present a broader presentation on our transit center and centers, and specifically our North Nashville project, to individual council members, as well as the Minority Caucus, as well as some community meetings, particularly with Councilmember Toombs and Councilmember Taylor. This being the Transportation Commission, we obviously wanted to give you all at least a brief update on where we are with our transit centers to date, as well as answer any questions for you, and talk about a little bit how we, came to this process, as many of you know, with our In Motion plan. So Felix Castro-Dodd, our Director of Planning, is going to start out, again, just giving you a brief update on things as it relates to our In Motion plan, where we're going with these transit centers, and then I'll also give you sort of a timeline of where we are with our North Nashville project. So Felix, if you want to take it away.
All right. Thank you, Rita. Good afternoon, committee and council members. I just wanted to remind you that the transit centers are a component of our Better Bus plan, which is also recommendations from the In Motion plan that was adopted in 2016. And the goal is just to make sure that we improve the existing services, and also with the transit center provide a network of transit centers that can facilitate connections outside of the downtown area. As you know, our system is very hub and spoke focused, so the majority of the trips or bus routes are forced to go through downtown. The Better Bus plan is a major part of the transportation plan adopted by Metro Nashville, by the council in December of 2020. But basically, it's a comprehensive look at our existing bus network and trying to improve from the service standpoint, things like providing longer hours of operation, making sure that we have better frequency in our bus routes, buses coming more often, new crosstown routes outside of downtown. But from an infrastructure standpoint, creating new transit centers and upgrading our bus stops to facilitate those connections and improve the accessibility of the system outside of downtown, as well as improving our WeGo access, which is our paratransit service, including development of mobility on demand zones in lower density areas that it doesn't really make a lot of sense to operate a fixed route service in those areas. So when you look at our planned transit centers are strategically located in areas that are better options for connecting different bus routes. And from a standpoint of what they do and how they are important, basically, there's a couple of key elements that are important for transit centers. They provide additional options outside of downtown, as I mentioned earlier, but also they enhance the network connectivity. At the same time, they provide for an opportunity to expedite the travel times for riders and facilitate that non-downtown travel, so you can reach more areas within a less amount of time, because riders don't necessarily have to go through downtown for every single trip. I want to highlight specifically the North Nashville Transit Center, which is the one that we are working on right now. We also have a transit center in Hillsborough that's actually going to open. We have a ribbon cutting ceremony, as you saw on the first slide, on the 31st. That's in Green Hills, and it was an opportunity for a partnership with Metro Schools as they were redeveloping the high school there, and Hillsborough High School. But highlighting the North Nashville Transit Center, which is going to be located at the intersection of 26th Avenue North and Clarksville Pike. We have 3 routes that go by there currently. So we already have some presence in the area, but associated with the development of the transit center, we have plans to extend in 2 existing routes. One of them being Route 21 that you see on this map. Actually, we're going to be improving that connection next month. So in April, with our service changes for the spring, we're going to be extending the route already there in anticipation of the building of the transit center next 23. So the other is Metro Center. We also have plans to extend that route to connect to the transit center. But additionally, we have plans for a new crosstown route that will be traveling along Trinity Lane. And that route is going to connect the transit center with Gallatin Pike. So it'll have connections to our Route 56 Gallatin Pike and also to our Route 4 Shelby. So any of those trips, currently, if you want to do that, you have to travel downtown, go down, and then go back out. So this is the purpose with this. But the takeaway with this is basically you see how the enhancement of the connections come to be, and we're facilitating that reach out to different opportunities for the community, but also at the same time hoping to reduce the amount of time that it'll take somebody to be able to reach those additional opportunities in less time as well. And I'm going to turn it over to Rita for the next slides.
Sure. So a key word when we talk about transit centers is the word neighborhood. And there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes in preparing for something like this, and a big piece of that is community engagement and listening to people who live near these transit centers, who live there now, but also thinking about the future, obviously. But what we really wanted to know is, what would you like to see as a rider who may be riding now or someone who's thinking about riding? And the list that you see in front of you are things that through surveys, community meetings, were things that we heard repeatedly from people saying, we wanted to have Wi-Fi, we wanted to have public art, a cultural reflection of the community. Because again, you think about neighborhood, when you come to the North Nashville Transit Center, how are you going to know this is a unique place? When you come to the Hillsborough Transit Center, how are you going to know this is a unique place? So I won't read through the litany of things that you have in front of you, but again, just to give you an idea of what passengers, customers can expect when they come to these transit centers. And then finally, Felix talked about our ribbon cutting that we have coming up for our Hillsborough site, and I know we've reached out to several of you and hope to see a lot of you out there. The North Nashville Transit Center timeline, we're actually looking at a construction period to be completed around April of 2023. Again, from that timeline, you can see a lot of things that have happened and are happening leading up to that. The community engagement that I mentioned, the site preparation that's happening now, final design plans, and we're actually in the process of looking for how do we procure artists who can come in and give what you saw on that previous page, that artistic and cultural perspective of the area. So we're really excited and happy to take any questions that you all may have. I know, again, as a Transportation Committee, you're really focused on what Felix talks about and where these routes will take your constituents as well as our customers, but wanted to give you at least a broad outline of what's happening overall.
All right, Council Member Gamble.
Thank you, Chair. I really just have a comment. I want to commend and thank WeGo and Transit for the hard work that you're doing, and particularly the community engagement. I know you all have attended several community meetings in my district about a new Route 79 that will be happening this spring, and I just want to say on behalf of the residents in District 3, we appreciate the efforts that you all are taking in getting that community engagement.
Thank you so much.
you.
And thank you for helping to bring things to our attention. We appreciate that.
Anyone else? All right, looks like we're going to let y'all off the hook without any hard questions.
All right.
We can try and think of some if you'd like, but
We'll leave while we can leave. Thank you all.
Thank
for
you
the
both.
opportunity.
And with that, seeing no further business for the committee, we are adjourned.